and welcome to the Unsure to Unstoppable podcast. My name is James Dunn, and I was adopted. I grew up in a household with an alcoholic father, and I was arrested for attempted armed robbery when I was 17 years old. Why do I share that with you in this podcast introduction? Well, because while you may not have gone through any one of those specific set of circumstances yourself, you've had your own version of them, whether it's a loss of a job, a divorce, you were picked on as a kid. Something in your life has created this little voice in the back of your head that's made you doubt yourself, question yourself and what you're truly capable of. As a podcast host and as a mindset coach, what I do is I help you tell that little voice in the back of your head to shut the fuck up, get out of your own way, and move from unsure to unstoppable. And how I plan to do that is each week I'm going to bring you stories of inspiration, motivation, my own challenges, my own struggles, as well as those of others who've gone through challenging times, rough times, things that most people maybe just didn't think they could ever get through, but have not only gone through them, but come out thriving on the other side of them. And through the sharing of those stories, I hope to help you see that you're not alone in this journey called life. Whatever you've gone through, whatever challenges you're having right now, it doesn't matter. You are a fucking badass and you deserve an amazing, incredible life. And we're going to help you get there. So with that, enjoy today's show. All right. Well, welcome back to the show. On today's episode, what I want to do is share with you 5 key habits that I try and do daily. It doesn't happen every single day, which is an important thing to note because I was thinking about this just a couple of days ago. One of the biggest challenges we have in this social media world is we see people do things on social media once and we think they do it every single day or all the time. And that's not always the case. Every single one of us, has off days. We have days that we don't do things or that we don't do things as well as we would like to. But on a regular basis, more often than not, these are the 5 habits I like to make sure to hit every single day to keep myself feeling good about life, to be excited about life, to make sure I'm on track with my goals, my dreams, my aspirations, everything that I'm trying to achieve in life. From a holistic standpoint, there are 5 habits that I feel like if I hit these regularly and consistently, then I'm going to be living that life that I want to live. So I want to share them with you today in hopes that maybe they will help you. So the very first one is hydrate. That might seem like an odd one, not one you normally hear people share a lot, but I'm literally going to take a drink right now because it's that important. But hydration is one of my big habits that I like to make sure I hit every single day. And this one is one I'm fairly consistent about. Weekends, I'm a little challenged for whatever reason, maybe because things get a little busy. But hydration is an important part of your life, whether you realize it or not, because, and I forget the exact math, maybe it would have helped if I had done some research and pulled up the exact number, but I believe it's something like 60% of your body is water. Now, you may not think it, you may not feel it, even if you poke yourself, maybe you feel a little squishier than I do. I don't know. I don't feel like super squishy, but even your bones are partially water. And so it is the key element that actually gives us life as human beings. Without water, we could not live. But so many of us are dehydrated, and you'll run into this quite often where people will think that they're hungry. They think that they are wanting food when the reality of it is they're just dehydrated. They've not had enough water over the course of the day to be fully hydrated. So you might be asking yourself, well, hey, James, how much water should I drink? Well, I'm here to help you with that too today. So there's an easy math equation that you can do to tell you the amount of water that you need to drink every single day to keep you fairly balanced and, about where you need to be. So what you want to do is you want to take your weight, and I'm going to give you my approximate weight. I went to the doctor last week, whenever it was here recently for my annual exam. And hey, good news and no surprise. They said I had a clean bill of health. Everything was looking great. They were very happy. And it's because I maintain my body. I do a lot of things to keep it looking and feeling healthy. But my weight at the time was 162 pounds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 162 number. Now just forget about the pounds side of it, but just take that 162 and I'm going to divide that in half. So that comes down to 81. So I divide 162 by 2, I get 81. So what my ideal amount of water, my goal amount of water for the day to drink should be 81 ounces. And depending on if you've drank water consistently lately, that might seem like a lot. It might seem like an overwhelming amount. I know when I first started getting in the habit of drinking regularly, that it was like, holy fuck, how the hell am I going to do that? But it's really not that hard if you make it a priority in your life. So for myself, what I do is as soon as I get up out of bed in the morning, I go pee. I'm not going to lie. First thing I do is I go pee because I'm hydrated. But I go pee and then I will chug down a 10-ounce glass of water. I just happen to have a glass in my bathroom that holds about 10 ounces of water. I chug that down. I go off usually depending on what day it is. But if it's Monday through Friday, I'm usually going to do a little rowing workouts right now. That's kind of my routine. And when I'm done with that, I come back and I drink another 10-ounce glass of water. So that starts me out with 20 ounces right there. I'm already 1/4 of the way through my goal, and I'm less than 30 minutes, an hour into my day. How I match the rest of that, or how I manage to get the rest of that through the course of the day, is I just carry around a water bottle. I have this one that I normally carry around. I think it holds 50 ounces, something like that. So if I just drink it over the course of the day, then that puts me at 70. I also have a couple of protein shakes that have water and ice in them. So that counts. Any kind of liquid drinks that you drink will be, have water in them. So it's actually pretty easy once you just make it part of your routine and have that there with you. As I said, this helps on so many levels because not only is it hydrating you, what it's doing is it's helping to curb any kind of hunger pangs that you might have. Just making you feel better. It's liquefying or lubricating. Maybe that's the better word for it. It's lubricating your joints, so you're not going to feel as sore as much if you're hydrating properly. It's just such a great habit to get into, and one that I never really thought about until my coach, had told me this is something to check into. And once I did, I've been a firm believer ever since, and would love for you to pick up the habit. So the second habit of my daily routines is to read or learn, depending on what the day looks like. What I really love to do is start the day with some form of reading. And I personally, when I say reading, I don't mean reading trashy romance novels or reading fiction books or reading things like that. Although, to be honest and to be fair, there's a lot that can be said, even just for the habit of reading itself. So if that is your method of getting in the reading, if that's your method of getting in those and getting in that knowledge, I'm not going to knock it completely, but it's not really what it's not in the spirit of what I'm looking for here. Although, as I mentioned, it can be great for you to read anything because you're going to have a higher vocabulary. You're going to have a bigger imagination just by reading even fiction books. But for me personally, when I talk about reading, what I'm talking about is reading nonfiction books, things that are helping me get closer to the goal of whatever it is I'm going after. So as an online business person, I'm reading online business books, or I'm reading mindset books. That's a lot of what I read. I'm also reading autobiographies because I love to hear the stories firsthand from people who've been successful, who've been through challenges, who've gone through things that maybe people didn't, realize somebody could get through. But finding stories like that really fascinate me. And so I love reading those. And I try and find something like that I can read every single day. Now, there's a very unfortunate statistic out there. Again, I should probably pulled up the numbers, but it's something like 60, 70%, if not 80% of people, I'd say it's probably closer to the 85% number of people who never read a book after they get out of high school or college. But once they get through that academic learning sessions, that they go through, they just drop reading books altogether. They'll read the internet, they'll scroll Facebook, but they stop reading books. And it's such, I can't fathom not reading regularly personally, because it's just such a part of the fabric of who I am, and that quest for knowledge and that quest for growth. And it's something that will expand you in ways that you can't even imagine. Now, if reading is not your jam, which I understand, I get it. I've got a nephew that I've been trying to get to read a book that I think will benefit him massively for years now. And he keeps saying, but I'm not a reader. I'm not a reader. Read the fucking book, man. But just seriously, sit down and read 10 pages a day. It doesn't take that long to read 10 pages. You can read 10 pages in literally 15 minutes, maybe even 20 minutes. If you're a slow reader, it would take you 20 minutes. You've got 20 minutes a day to grow your mind, to expand yourself, to learn something new every single day. If you're truly on, the path to greatness, to truly trying to become the best version of yourself that you can possibly be, you can spare 20 minutes a day for this growth. Now, if you really are dead set against reading, and I'm not going to judge you, maybe a little bit, listen to podcasts. Find something that's going to educate you, that's going to help you to grow, to help you to learn, to expand your mind. And podcasts are great because you can find some that have many that have conversations. This podcast you're listening to right now, obviously you're learning, you're expanding, you're growing your mind. I've got episodes that maybe when this one comes out, I'll be doing a little more of the conversational ones. I'm recording them as we speak. So those are coming more regularly, but you can find things that help you to grow your mind and learn more. So if you're here listening to this podcast, awesome, kudos to you, but also consider adding in reading books because they will help you so much. I think because it also forces you to focus on that one particular thing. I'm listening to, podcasts all the time, but I can also be out driving while I'm doing that. I could be doing housework while I'm doing that. I could be doing guard work while I'm doing that. But to read, I got to sit the fuck down and read that and focus on those words on that page. So really consider it. I think it's a great habit to get into. The third habit that I want to share with you today, I actually mentioned a little bit earlier, is workout. Getting physical exercise in every single day. Or maybe not every day, but on some level, I think it's possible to get it every single day. So myself, my current workout routine, this is where I'm at in my life at this particular moment. On Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, I do rowing workouts. On Mondays and Fridays, those are my rest days for the most part. Saturdays and Sundays, those are run days. Now that all varies. It kind of shifts depending on what season of life I'm in and what's going on at the time. But where I'm at today, as I'm recording this, I just want to share with you what's going on. That is my routine. Now, I sometimes will also throw in yoga on Mondays and Fridays, just so I'm getting some kind of exercise in on those other days and getting it to 7 days a week, but it's not overly strenuous. It's not some hot yoga for an hour and a half, anything weird, crazy like that. And even the exercise that you do does not have to be overly strenuous all the time, but you do want to push yourself from time to time. You do want to challenge yourself physically from time to time, because not only do you get the physical benefits from it, but for me, why I enjoy running, I don't enjoy necessarily so much the physical side of it, at least in terms of getting out there and running around. Although I don't know, I go back and forth on this, but really what I love about running the most is that I can't coast. If I'm going to run, I have to run. I have to put one foot in front of the other, and I got to keep going and keep going and keep going. And that mental battle that's going on in my head through that entire run. So as I was training for the half marathon recently, going out for almost 2-hour long runs and literally only walking for maybe like every 3 miles. My current situation, what I've been doing is like every 3 miles, I'll take 30 paces. So like after I run for 3 miles, I'll take 30 steps, like a walking pace, and then run again for 3 miles, and then 30 walking steps, and then run again. So out of a 2-hour run, I'm only walking maybe a minute and a half, something like that. But I love that push. I love that challenge. And what physical exercise does is it helps you grow your belief system, your trust in yourself, and just gives you confidence because you're constantly challenging yourself. You're constantly pushing yourself. And the more often that you do that, and the more often you do that successfully, the more confidence you have in yourself. As you're going through your day, you can start saying, well, hey, yeah, this situation I'm in right now sucks and it's pushing me, it's challenging me. Motherfucker, I got up this morning, I got that workout in, I got that run in today, or I lifted those weights today, or I did whatever, exercise that I did this morning, or that I normally do tonight, or whatever it happens to be, whatever your routine looks like. You can always fall back on that and say, man, I push myself through those workouts all the time. I can handle this situation right here today that I'm going through, whatever it is. because I know I trust myself. I believe in myself. I physically can do this. So exercise is a critical component, I believe, of having an amazing day. All right. The fourth task, routine that I want to share with you is meditation. Now, before you go running off and hiding from this idea of meditation, don't think that you have to act like, one of those little monks or whatever, sitting on top of a mountainside, wearing your monk robe and then one incense stick burning, chanting om, at sunrise and all that shit. You don't have to do that. I personally, right now, again, for the most part, my current routine is I'll meditate for 10 minutes in the morning. And I've simply got an app that I use right now. I currently use Insight Timer, and it does have little monks chanting or just doing like an om in the background because I enjoy that particular sound. But you can do nature sounds, you can do silence, you can do whatever, figure out what works best for you. But I just let that go for 10 minutes while I close my eyes and I try and just focus on my breathing and focus on letting thoughts go through my head and envisioning the best version of myself, the most powerful, incredible version of myself, what my life can look like, and just really feeling all those thoughts and those emotions and clearing all the negative chatter out of my brain and just centering myself, which I know sounds kind of woo-woo or, whatever, but once you get into this habit, you really start to feel it. You really start to feel connected with yourself more. And why I think this is so important is because there's so many times through the course of your day where you're going to run into things that will stress you out. None of us, I don't believe, unless you are a monk who has trained for years and years and years and years and years, none of us are going to go through the day without something that isn't going to trigger us on some level. Now, depending on how much work you've done towards this, certain things will trigger you more than others. And the vast majority of things don't trigger me anymore. But somebody cuts me off in fucking traffic, fuck that motherfucker. Thankfully, I bounce back from that within just about a half of a second. I don't go into any kind of road rage. I don't go after anybody. I can't think of the last time I flipped somebody off. But I mean, there's that split second, that instant where I'm like, motherfucker, what did you have to do that for? But thanks to meditation, what I'm able to do is I'm able to remove myself very quickly, if not immediately, from that situation. And you can use this in just about anything in your life. If it happens to be, somebody that you're working with that annoys the hell out of you, if it's somebody you're in a relationship with, if you open up a piece of mail and it's got some really bad news, whatever normally triggers you, by the act of going through meditation and getting really good at centering yourself and connecting with you, you can then disconnect yourself from these situations, and not in a completely negative way, but just remove yourself from the immediate emotions of that moment. So you can then respond to that instead of reacting to that event. And responding is a completely different situation than reacting, because reacting is a knee jerk. Like I just said, I get triggered. Somebody cuts me off. Fuck you, motherfucker. I'm coming after you. I'm going to beat your ass. That's a reaction. Responding is, motherfucker. Okay. All right, well, maybe, they're late for school. Maybe they're late for work. Maybe they've got a family member that's in the hospital and they're trying to hurry up and get to them. Maybe I'm not in such a big rush after all. Maybe I don't need to worry about getting to where I'm trying to get as fast, and just let them go do their thing. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to relax and breathe in and enjoy this moment. That's what meditation can do for you. So I strongly encourage you, if this is not something you've ever tried before, try it now. It can absolutely transform your life. And the fifth and final of my daily practices that I want to share with you today, journaling. Now, this is another one. Please stop if you're starting to run away and thinking that, if you're a guy specifically, if you're thinking that journaling is like writing down your deepest, darkest secrets and your, secret crushes in your diary, like little girls, we always picture this, picture them doing. It doesn't have to be like that. Journaling is just an opportunity for you to clear your mind, similar to meditation, but actually taking those thoughts and getting them out on paper and really giving this outside perspective of what's going on in your life and the feelings that you're having, and really working through a lot of mental chatter that's going on in your brain that you can't work out simply in your head. Because what happens is your brain is always going. It's always thinking. It's always coming up with the next step, the next step, the next step, the next step. Um, but when you journal, when you take the time to write things on paper, it forces your brain to slow down a little bit because you have to go through the motions of getting each and every single letter and processing what you're writing. And just by doing that, it helps gives you clarity. And I know for myself, even just the act of getting thoughts out on paper helps me to take some of the emotions out of them, helps me to see them from a different perspective. And it also gives you a track record. It gives you a history that you can go back and look at and start seeing patterns maybe in your life that you otherwise wouldn't, because you get so caught up in what's going on in the day-to-day of life that you don't take time to go back and look or be able to recognize, have that self-awareness that these things are going on. But what you can do if you journal on a regular basis, and I've gotten really bad about this. This is one of them that I've kind of let fall off a lot here lately, is the journaling. But when I'm in the best practices of it, what I do is I try and journal daily. And at the end of the week, then I go back and I review. What did I write down this week? What were my thoughts? What were my concerns? What were any issues I was having or struggling with? Is there anything that I really need to pay attention to? And I can get a weekly overview of my life. Well, then at the end of the month, I can also go back and look at the month and see if there's maybe patterns. See if I see myself writing the same thing over and over and over again, where I talk about, oh, I stayed up too late tonight, and oh, I didn't get very good sleep last night, and oh man, I'm struggling here at the end of the night. If I see this happening over and over and over again, then even though I'm living it day to day, if I'm caught up in the actions of living day to day, I may not recognize to the extent of this, how this is happening to me and how it's hurting me so much. But if I see it over and over and over and over again in my journal, I can say, well, wait a minute, man, this happened like this night, this night, this night. Man, 7 out of the last 14 nights or 7 out of the 30 nights this month, I struggled with sleep or getting to bed on time or finishing things up before the end of the night. I really need to address this area of my life. This is something that I need to take care of. So journaling has a very powerful ability to help you see things that you otherwise wouldn't see. And journaling also gives you an opportunity to transform your mindset and the way that you think about things. You can use journal prompts to dig deep into some of your old limiting beliefs and self-doubts and questions that you have about yourself, your abilities, and anything like that. You can start putting questions like, how can I make this task that I have to do fun? And I'm going to blank, of course, on journaling prompts right now because I'm under pressure, but you can find all kinds of journal prompts online if you struggle yourself, coming up with them just like I'm doing right this second. But you can find journal prompts that are, thought invoking, that will really help you dig into why you think certain things and why certain patterns are showing up in your life all the time, or whatever you're struggling with. These journal prompts can help you work through those. And those are great things to put into your journal. So I hope those were helpful. And just to recap, they were hydrate, reading/learning, exercising, meditating, and journaling. Those are my 5 daily tasks that I try and practice as much as possible, try to stay with as consistently as possible. And, and to help you and myself also stay focused on these and to hit them more regularly, I've designed a fast tracker. And so what this fast tracker is it's a form that you can use. It's a daily planner sheet that you can use to track which ones that you go through. And so when I talk about I've fallen off, I see it every day that I'm not doing the journaling. So it's not like I'm not aware of it. I've just not made it a priority lately to get it done. But with this fast tracker, you can have that awareness. You can have this visual tool that you can use every single day to focus on, those 5 areas that I just talked about. But it also keeps you focused on what's important. It keeps you in alignment with yourself. It tracks your successes. It tracks your failures. It helps you give you a couple journal prompts. A couple journal prompts that are on here that I have is like, what is one thing that I struggled with today, or one thing I did really well today? And then how can I do better with this? Or how can I, continue this behavior that helped me today. So there's a couple of journal prompts on this fast tracker that I think will be very helpful for you. And it also, has a spot there for you to write down the 3 most important tasks of your day. And if you think this will be helpful, which I know it will be, so I don't even want to ask you if you think it's going to be helpful. I know it's going to be helpful for you. If you want this, if you want to really get on the fast track to your goals, your dreams, and get to that life that you are really, really wanting, I'm going to put a link in the show notes to get this. And I highly encourage you to download it, to use it, to try it, give me feedback on it. Let me know what you think of it, because I promise you, if you do these 5 habits that I share with you today, if you use this fast tracker, it will absolutely get you to your dreams, your goals, the life that you want to live so much faster in an incredible way, and just help you be so much more aware of what's going on in your life. All right. That is what I've got for you today. So get out there. Have an amazing fucking day. And I will see you next time. If you found value in this episode, please share it with your friends. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and anywhere else that you happen to hear it. We are just trying to celebrate life, make it better for everyone, and sharing these messages with them just helps them believe in themselves and what can be better than that.